Goofy Goes Goofy is a great episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse if you're a fan of Goofy. Unfortunately for me, Goofy is actually my least favourite character, joined with Pluto. I actually don't mind Pluto in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but in some of the more classic shorts from the 30s and 40s, Pluto's not my favourite. But Goofy is probably my least favourite Clubhouse character. So an episode where there are multiple Goofies, it's not my favourite, but it's not a bad episode. I actually think that this one, unlike a lot of Clubhouse episodes, in fact, unlike pretty much every other Clubhouse episode, is more about just appealing to the nature of children's humour that's fun and silly and wacky and a little bit outrageous. Usually, Clubhouse is brilliant for being educational, and that certainly we get here. There are moments where there's opportunities for counting and learning about money, for example, when Pete purchases a muffin. But for the most part, I feel like this is one that will appeal to children because it's silly humour and quite an eye-rolling style of humour, because Professor Von Drake has yet another experiment that goes wrong and Goofy ends up being replicated into, I believe, 6 different Goofies. The original and then 5, I think. And of course, that's going to cause some problems, especially as he is supposed to be helping Clarabelle out at the market today. And there's a sequence that lasts a little bit longer than I would have liked it to have done, but I think children will really thoroughly enjoy it, the target audience, of course. Where he asks Pete for the money, Pete gives the money, and then the next Goofy asks Pete for the money, and Pete gets all confused, thinking he's already paid. But has he paid? And of course, you can just envision young children laughing hysterically at that. It's definitely very goofy, silly humour, and I think that that works well because it very much is an episode about Goofy, and it's very goofy comedy. So it's definitely going to appeal to young children. For me personally, watching it as a Disney fan, I didn't find it that interesting because I'm not the biggest Goofy fan. But there wasn't anything about it that actually didn't work. There's nothing about it that I thought was bad or that didn't flow well. It just doesn't appeal to my own personal tastes. So for me, this is the first episode in a long time where I've watched it and thought, this doesn't work for me as a fully grown adult. Whereas a lot of the other episodes have things that appeal to me as a Disney fan. This one, not so much. But by no means am I saying it's a bad episode. I'm fully aware that my dislike of Goofy is my own problem and nothing to do with the episode itself. I think the fact that there are 6 Goofies gives a great opportunity for counting. For children, you can ask a child, how many Goofies can you see on the screen at the moment? And they can count how many Goofies they see. Each of the Goofies wears a different number, so providing some familiarity with numbers. There are opportunities for education, but it's also goofy, silly fun, which, let's face it, is something a lot of young children are going to absolutely love.